I'm going to, next I'm going to work on lights. Lights are, I think I might be able to fix these lights. I don't know. I'll give them a test and everything, make sure that it's not just a ground issue. If it is a ground issue, I'll fix them. Are those LED? They might even be LED lights. If they're LEDs, they're worth, oh, there you go. That's how you want to wire it up. Right like that. So, I could probably fix those lights, so I probably will. And I will remove this, maybe move it back a bit and put a piece of aluminum across. And build a mount for the aluminum in a place where you can put a license plate. Long way to go, fenders. And so I got lights. Turns out it's ground. It's always ground. Little emery cloth where they had it grounded out. I put a new connector on it, attached the ground, and sure enough, I checked. We got brake lights, turn signals, everything. Looks like there is a LED light, so they must have upgraded those lights. So I'm definitely gonna relocate them, reuse them. I'll take this if I can run that. It looks like I can. Yeah, if I can run that wire down the channel, down the middle, so it's not exposed like that, and then I'll just run them out, split them. I'll make a bar coming across here, and we'll put our license plate on there. But that's sweet, easy fix. So I wish I did that before I drove it home. It was only 20 minutes away, but still sweet. There's a better look at our trailer. I'm gonna pull this into the garage so I don't have to work on it in the sun. It's getting pretty hot out here now, so I'm gonna get this flipped around, pull it in the garage, and I'll strip these wires and stuff off. I'll strip everything off, and I'm gonna paint it. I'm pretty sure I have a can of either gray or black rust paint. So we'll do that and we'll get this off, and I'll come up with a mount for that. These don't look that bad. return spring is dead, so this is going to get replaced. They're cheap. Here comes my favorite part. Getting the hubs off. The bearings are really nice in these. I don't think this thing was trailered too often. Probably just down on the lake and back. Can't tell whether that's creamy grease from water or if it's just nice clean grease. This one blew the seal out of the back. You can see all that grease there. That's what your bearing buddies will do. They'll just keep packing grease, forcing grease, and finally the grease has to go somewhere. So it blows out the back. And then you get this road grime and grease and all kinds of. The other tire didn't look that bad, so I don't think the seal blew out of the other one. Is that a fishing line? No, I don't think so. So I'll take all this to work, and we got a parts wash, so I'll clean everything up with the parts wash. We can repack everything and get those hubs back on. The shafts don't look too bad. It looks like at some point in its life it had a bad bearing go out and kind of mar the shaft up a little bit. I can feel like a bit of a high spot on it, but that shouldn't bother this boat too much. All right, I'm one step closer to paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these. Looks like I can pull that bottom nut off and just pull these bunks right off. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8 of them come off, and that way hopefully this nut will determine the place that I put them back. This thing is pretty flexy, and I'm hoping that looks like there's a hanger missing here. So I'm gonna make up something, hopefully tying that back in. We'll stiffen up that back end. This boat doesn't need much, it's very light, so. But that's what I'll do. I'll knock these things off, and then I'm gonna get a paintbrush out. I'm gonna slap a coat of paint on this, and I'll throw it back together. All right, I think we're ready to paint. There's my paint. Gloss Greg, about 3/4 of a can, so I'm gonna make it work. Trailer has a coat of paint. I just painted the top of the trailer. So I'm going to let that dry and I'm going to flip it. Maybe tomorrow I'll paint the bottom. I just don't want to paint up. So I'd rather flip the thing and paint it that way. It's just easier on the knees and back. So I'm going to take a trip down now. And, over here I found a piece of aluminum angle. I think is going to become the new mount for those lights. I'll just mount that right across the back here. I'll just bolt it right across here. Mount the lights back on. And I'm going to run that wiring harness right through that channel. Right down through the center. I'll split it. And wire the lights back up. I'm also going to get a new winch. That one's garbage. So it's not worth, for what they're worth, they're not worth very much. This is still good. I'll sort out these chains and get them back on. And the rollers, this probably all won't happen until tomorrow. I've got there's my hub. hubs. The bearings are good in those, I believe. They're just going to get a bath tomorrow at work. Those are my bolts for the... There's the back side of that one tire. So the tires look like they're in decent shape. There's the back side of the other one. You can see where when the seal blows out, it just pukes grease all over your tires. And so I got a few parts I gotta make. That's the my template for the inner piece on the boat. So I got all my measurements done for the seat, so I'll pick away at those next week. And but I'll focus on this trailer, getting the trailer back together and getting the boat back on it. So it'll only I've come a long way in the 2 days that I've had the boat, so I can I'd like to get this trailer squared away and at least get the boat back on it. If I have to do fenders later on, I'll do that, but I don't think the fenders are going to be too tough. These things will go right back on. I'll just clean up the rods and get the points back on, and I got rollers over here. My jack is still good, so that's going to get bolted right back on. So yeah, it's coming along. Well, here's the day's end update. I kind of got sidetracked on filming, so I'm not totally sure what I filmed and what I didn't. It's all painted. I got my rollers back on. My bunks are back on. I've mounted this piece of aluminum. I think I'm going to paint that as well. And I also have to... Went down and tried to find one of those U-bolts. Put into this spot here where there's one missing. But I couldn't find one. But I did find a new winch. So that's going to go on. You can hear my paint still sticky. So then I also bought this. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to put that on. Something's got to go there. The boat can't butt up against a piece of steel. So I'm thinking maybe I'll cut that rubber, follow that same profile, and drill 2 holes, one here, one here, one here, one here, and then just bolt it so that the bolt sinks. I'll use like a button head bolt and have it sink into the rubber so that it doesn't make contact. I don't think it will matter too much, but I got my coil chains back on. He had all kinds of chains, like you see that chain over there, that was attached to it, and everything was attached to it, and there's this extension because the lights weren't, the wires weren't long enough, so he added some kind of extension here. So there's my lights. That's got to go on tomorrow. That's what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'll get the tires and the hubs all cleaned up again and repacked. I'll paint those hubs during the day so it doesn't slow me down at night. I don't know how much I'll get done tomorrow night, but I'd love to get this thing rolling again and then back out with the boat back on top of it. So it just makes it easier to work on. So, but I think tomorrow we'll finish up the trailer, and then I can start working on some seats for the boat, and then we'll finish up with the motor. Probably should have started with the motor, but it doesn't matter. I'm pretty confident that thing's gonna run. There's all my bearings and hubs. Took the hubs, cleaned them all up, painted them. So everything seems to be in pretty good shape. Bearings are all good. I just got to repack everything and reassemble it. So I'll get those on. So I got a rolling trailer again. I'll get this painted and get my lights mounted, and then we can wire this in, get the boat back on top of it, and start working on that boat again. And that's what you want. No play, side to side. No crunchy. Just sounds smooth. So I'll go ahead and shoot some grease into these and kind of pack the grease on the inside and load up those bearing buddies, and we should be good on the other side. And get my lights on and start painting. I just wanted to show you the fender. That's what I came up with for the fender. It's just a couple pieces of aluminum bent up. And there's my little fender. So, not the greatest looking thing, but easy. You can see I just, this is actually a piece of shelving. It's a workbench. It's the tie-in piece. If you can picture the tie-in piece that goes across the back of like an industrial workbench. One of those ones you bolt together with the wood tops. I just took that, notched out some corners here. This is just JB Weld, and JB welded it just to fill it. And I'll paint it the same color as the trailer, and that's kind of what it's going to look like. the trailer. It's all finished. Turned out pretty good. Here's kind of a look at those fenders. Definitely looks a lot better with fenders than it did without, but those fenders are kind of a bit goofy looking, but still better than no fenders. You can see that bar at the back looks a lot neater too. I ended up spending about 60 bucks, I guess. I spent 40 bucks on my new winch, and this rubber mount was about 8 bucks. I also bought a can of spray paint, which is about 20 bucks, just to spray paint and touch up the I spray painted the fenders, and then I touched up in and around. Still a couple of little spots that I can see, like right in here. I'll have to get I got a bit of spray paint left, and I'll get to that. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I'm pretty happy that I'm done. I can start moving on to that boat and then get into what I came for. But I appreciate you watching. I just turned 200 subscribers, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I appreciate everybody that did subscribe. I'm gonna plan to do a few more stuff. I buy and fix and sell and all kinds of, mostly boats and motors and outboard motors and boats and stuff. So I'm gonna try and film some more and see what we can do. But I appreciate you watching. Till next time.